this? It's been done. I didn't think it could happen.
Welcome to our 2015 STIHL Timbersport Canadian Championship. Today, we'll witness as 8 of Canada's top steel athletes try to chop and saw their way to victory, not only to claim their spot to represent Team Canada in the World Championship, but we'll also battle it out for the top spot and title of the 2015 STIHL Timbersports Canadian Champion.
Welcome to the STIHL Timbersports Canadian Championships here. This is the final round. The top 4 from the West Coast have been determined, along with the top 4 from the East Coast. 8 competitors remaining. They will partake in 6 events. 3 chopping events, 3 sawing events here in beautiful Niagara Falls. We are looking for the #1 top Canadian. The top competitor will represent Canada in Boston and Poland. The top 4 will represent Canada on the relay team. Love that event. Stay tuned, plenty of chopping coming up. Well, they've been back there getting ready all morning, so let's bring them out. The first man in the pro division, he qualified yesterday from Quebec, Saint-Étienne, Quebec, I should know that, J.P. Mercier. There he is.
I've been doing lumberjack sports for over 40 years, and then I always wanted to do the STIHL timber sport, and then couldn't do it because I couldn't match my vacation with the qualification and everything. And then suddenly I started to make my own saws. And then when my saws started to win, then people wanted me to make saws for them, and then I quit my job and started a new business as a saw maker for timber sport all over the world.
From Neil, BC, Nick Russell.
And I first started lumberjack sports, I guess my dad did it when I was a young kid, so I started watching him go in competitions, and then I re-picked it up again in University of New Brunswick on the UMB Woodsman team.
Another competitor representing the East Coast from Seabright, Ontario. Let's give it up to Cecil Starr.
You've got a handle that's comfortable in your hands. You know you can put the axe on the wood right with it, and you've got an axe that's cutting well. That's half the battle. It's 70% in your head, you know, too, and knowing that that axe is going to do what you need it to do.
Next up, he is known as the Godfather from Magna Bay, BC, Carl Bischoff.
Well, I started in '77 in the actual lumberjack sports, and I had 3 times the Chainsaw Olympics in Europe. And then, of course, the STIHL Series started up, and it's amazing competition because there's 6 events, 3 chopping, 3 sawing, every man for himself at the end of the day, and it's a tremendous series.
I've been avoiding saying his hometown all day yesterday. I'm going to try it from Memramcook, New Brunswick. He won the East Coast qualifier last year. Marcel Dupuis.
To give yourself the edge, you always try to prepare yourself as much as you can. I think that's the only thing you can do. And if you can prepare yourself as best as you can, then you can put your best foot forward when it comes time to compete. So that's all I can do for myself. So that's pretty much what I do. Try to practice as much as I can.
Mitchell Hewitt, best springboarder in the world right here. You'll see why we call him Mitchell the Missile Hewitt.
Well, I sort of started when I was 10 in junior competitions, and just always been around it. And I moved to Canada when I was 24 and have started the STIHL Timbersports about 5 years ago.
And the man who won the rookie division last year, he won the East Coast professional division yesterday, Nathan Cumberland. That's the future right there. This guy is an unbelievable competitor.
There's just something about swinging a razor-sharp axe into a piece of wood. It's addicting. It's like for Sidney Crosby shooting a puck. You know, I love it, and I've fallen in love with it. So coming to shows like this is what I enjoy doing.
Canadian champion, here he is, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together for Sterling Hart.
From Vancouver, British Columbia.
My father and my grandfather were both involved in the sport, so I had an axe by the age of 4. You know, it was kind of like putting hockey skates on a kid. So I got my first axe instead. And when you grow up with it, watching your parents do it, you grow a real passion for the sport. And that's been a real key thing for keeping me involved in it for so many years. And spending all the time, energy, and money in it is you just love what you do.
Let's get going. The first event is the springboard. Carl Bischoff on 1, Nick Russell on 2, Cecil Starr on 3, J.P. Mercier on 4. 9-foot aspen poles. They have to sever an 11-inch block up on top, but to get there, they have to put 2 pockets in, insert these boards. They're normally up there around 20 seconds. I'm going to step out of their way. This event will be over in around the 1 minute to 1:20 mark.
1, go!
East Coast competitors in the green, West Coast competitors in the blue shirts. 4 hits is the minimum, and STIHL Star has accomplished that. He is second from the right side. Carl Bischoff, though, 1 hit ahead of him. Nick Russell right there. J.P. Mercier right there. All 4 competitors on their bottom board. They want to make a solid top board, and Carl Bischoff has accomplished just that. He's made 2 beautiful boards. He's going to get back to the end of it, and he's into that 11-inch Aspen log. He has 6 hits on STIHL Star. Carl Bischoff, the oldest competitor out here, is in the lead. This has surprised many of the competitors, Sabrina. West Coast competitors down on the ground cheering Carl on, telling him to reach out. It's the far fibers that is very difficult to get. It's an illusion that you have cut them out. It is Carl Bischoff running away with this event right now. He is 3/4 of the way through, turned already. Carl Bischoff from the West Coast is taking the small wood out of the back. STIHL Star not far behind him. This is a man who dominated the sport when I started 25 years ago, and he's 2 hits away from winning the springboard on the East Coast division. There it is! Carl Bischoff coming off first. That is an upset, ladies and gentlemen.
My favorite event would probably be the springboard chop. It's one that really caters to my abilities. You don't have to be the biggest guy to do it. It takes a lot of speed and agility, and it's a real technical event. And it just really favors me being a smaller guy, being able to get up there, no fear of heights, and it's one of my stronger events.
Springboard is my pet event. Like, you know, I'm probably favourite to win it, so if I don't win it, you know, it's a bit of an upset. But any of the chopping events, I hope to do well, and stocks already do reasonably well, so I can usually count on 3 or 4 pretty reasonable good events.
Preparation for these events, for the STIHL Timbersports Canadian Championship, 364 days of preparing. You know, as soon as last year finished, you're always looking ahead to the next year, right? Everybody always says it's a lot easier to get on top than it is to stay there. It's harder to stay motivated, stay hungry for a win. It's very easy to get complacent with a victory, right? So that's been the hardest thing, is finding the motivation to go out and train every day. But this would be the year that I've spent the most time training and the most money on equipment, so I expect a lot out of myself this year.
We are going to bring them up right now on stand number 1. He represented Canada last year, went to Innsbruck, Austria. He proved, it took 43 seconds to prove that he was fastest in the world. Did this in 43 seconds. Here it is right now. Sterling Hart. And this man, next man, he chops like he's been shot out of a cannon. I like to call him Mitchell the Missile Hewitt. From the West Coast, here he comes. Mitch Hewitt, arguably the fastest springboarder in the world. And we've been talking about him all morning. Our rookie competitor, who's now a professional competitor from the East Coast, Nathan Cumberland. The man who won this event in the semifinal round this year from the East Coast, he's coming. He says, I'm up here whether you're going to announce me or not. There he is, Marcel Dupuis.
Athlete trade. 3, 2, 1, go.
Again, 4 hits minimum is what they are looking for. Mitch Hewitt has put 4 of the fastest hits he has ever in, and he's up on the first pocket in only 4 hits. He'll be looking for 4 hits in the top, and he has done that so nice. He's done it twice, and the missile has been launched, but it is Sterling Hart with 1 hit ahead. This could be a West Coast race. Sterling Hart looking for redemption. He was beat by Mitchell Hewitt in the finals last year. Mitchell Hewitt with that axe on a leash, and he is already 2/3 of the way through. Sterling Hart in the far wood, and it will be Sterling Hart turning early. It is 1 hit ahead by Sterling Hart. Mitchell Hewitt Just one hit behind. Sterling is driving the far wood. This is going to be an upset. And Sterling Hart thought it was off. It was hanging by a fiber. Wow, there it is right there. Sterling Hart has done it. And he is pounding that log up there saying, I have finally done it. And let's keep it going for Marcel Dupuis and Nate Cumberland chasing those steel points.
He had 4 good cuts.
There you go. I'm going to see if I can grab Sterling for a quick word here, and then we'll get right on to the next event. Sterling, Innsbruck, Austria, got the fastest time ever, 43 seconds. Some people thought it was a fluke. You just proved it's not.
You know, I owe most of that springboard cut to Mitch Hewitt. None of us out here, I can first say this, none of us would be the competitors we are today if Mitch Hewitt wasn't there for us to chase. You know, we've watched him, tried to practice his style, and yeah, I'd like to thank him for all his help. He doesn't help me anymore, but he helped me a lot when I was younger.
He was up first, but somehow you got just a hit ahead of him. You really calculated every motion in this event, haven't you?
Yeah, well, I've been able to somewhat keep up with him up top, but he would always beat me up the tree, so that was where my focus was today. Take it one step at a time, and yeah, it all came together for me.
Great job. Big round of applause again. Sterling Hart.
Let's bring out our Timber Pack dance crew from Alon Dance Arts in London, Ontario.
One event in the books, and while points are shifting around, let's take another quick look at the STIHL overall scoreboard.
Welcome back to the coverage of the first 3 events of our 2015 STIHL Canadian Championship. With one event in the books, our athletes are preparing for our underhand chop event.
Heat 1 of 2 in the underhand. On stand number 1, let's bring out Nick Russell on stand number 1. West Coast, J.P. Mercier coming from behind yesterday to be here today. And the man who put up that first springboard, that fast time on the West Coast, they call him the Godfather, Carl Bischoff. And from Seabright, Ontario, huge round of applause, the man with the speed, Cecil Starr. Watch the hit speed on Cecil Starr, farthest man to your right.
Timers ready?
Athlete training. 3, 2, 1, go.
And Nick Russell quickly changing sides, saying, wait a minute, I've got to start facing the crowd. Look at Cecil Starr looking for some East Coast redemption on the far side, all the way to your right. Cecil Starr, a hit speed not easily matched, and just a perfect fluid turn. And it's J.P. Mercier right behind Cecil Starr. Cecil Starr put 1 and 1 in the bottom, meaning it's time to drive. Oh, and it's stepping off Cecil. That log is stubborn, and there it goes. Wow, Nick Russell, though. Nick Russell right behind him, just a swing and a half. And J.P. Mercier getting back some huge steel points. Let's keep it going for Carl Bischoff. He's closing in on 60, ladies and gentlemen. Carl Bischoff just getting those bottom fibers there. What a race. Cecil Starr right behind it was Nick Russell. And I'm looking at Nick Russell's block here, just a perfectly cut block.
So we can take our steak. Thank you for holding it. And when you put your steak on, there's a roaring fire in there. Put it on, pointing at 8 o'clock, okay? Close your lid, because in Big Green Egg World, if you're looking,
It ain't cooking.
that's right.
Okay, let's bring him out. Mitchell the Missile Hewitt on stand number 1 representing the West Coast. There he is, and this man used to be a professional firefighter in the professional firefighting games. Marcel Dupuis, the winner of the East Coast Underhand in 2014. man who just won the springboard from the West Coast. Let's bring him out. Sterling Hart on stand number 3. And our rookie winner from last year, our professional East Coast winner from this year on stand number 4, Nathan Cumberland.
Timers ready?
Athletes ready. 3, 2, 1, go.
2 left-handers, 2 right-handers, all fighting for the number 1 spot in this under. Sterling Hart is putting beautiful hits in, but it is Cumberland on the far right side. Cumberland bringing power unmatched. Sterling Hart, not the largest competitor, but putting in a perfect cut. It's East Coast ahead. Sterling Hart ready to drive it. It's Cumberland driving on the right side, and it is Mitch Hewitt. I'm going to call unofficially could be Mitchell Hewitt, the largest competitor farthest to the right, the smallest competitor to your left. This is going to come down to a very close. Unofficially, we have Mitchell Hewitt bringing it home. That is just a redemption cut right there. What's going through your head? Are you thinking about this springboard? Just thinking about underhand cuts?
Yeah, no, I just have to put the springboard behind me, and it wasn't a bad result. It's just not used to it.
Okay. All right, we'll let him get ready. There you go. Unofficial time for his underhand cut, 23 seconds. Unofficial time for his interview, 2.3 seconds, ladies and gentlemen. That is unbelievably fast by Mitchell Hewitt. Huge round of applause. Another Timber Sports event in store for you, but first let's take a quick look at the STIHL overall scoreboard.
Don't go anywhere. More action, back chopping, and sawing coming up after the break. With 2 events down and moving into the 3rd STIHL event, it's clear that focus and determination are on our athletes' minds.
You really got to worry about your own game when it comes to how you're going compared to other people. Like if you start worrying about how other people are, you know, finishing or whatever, you're taken away from yourself. So I know I've just got to focus on what I do.
When you get to the level that we're at here now at the Canadian Championships, you know, there's the 3 things. There's the equipment, the skill of the operator, and then it comes down to the wood a lot of times too. So, you know, you can take out the guesswork by doing all the training, and then the other part comes down to your equipment, right? You don't really have a choice in what block you get. So all you can do is go out and keep your equipment updated. You got to spend the time and the energy to get everything run just right.
At our qualifier, I disqualified in the stock saw, so 0 points, and I was only 1 point behind first place in the overall. So, you know, it's never over because everyone else has their own problems, so you just got to worry about your own.
Hey folks, the next event is the stock saw. We'll be using 2 STIHL identical MS661s. They have a 20-inch bar. The competitors will be cutting through a 16-inch log. They have 4 inches of room to make 2 complete discs. Hands on the wood. They have to stay there until go. The goal is ear, hand, eye coordination. They are looking for 2 thin discs for maximum fat STIHL points.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're just about set to start heat number 1 of the stock saw competition in the pro division.
Okay, we're going to bring them up from Saint-Étienne, Quebec. JP Mercier on stand number 1. Very accomplished stock sawyer. And from Port McNeill, British Columbia, Nick Russell on stand number 2.
Hands on the wood. Get set.
Oh, and his advantage, Nick Russell on the number 2 stand with the B-saw. Nick Russell ahead right now. Mercier catching up with the thin disc. And Nick Russell, wow, what a cut. And the fist pump. No penalty for excessive celebration on the stand number 2, the fist pump. Nick Russell, look at that time. We've leaped over the 12s. We are in the low 11s. Okay, heat number 2 here already. We were just talking about him from Seabright, Ontario on stand number 1. Let's bring him up, Cecil Starr from the East Coast. And the man we talked, the Godfather, the stock saw whisperer. We just keep getting more names from this gentleman from Magna Bay, British Columbia, West Coast. Carl Bischoff on stand number 2. Carl having a great day, cut up that beautiful springboard, looking to get huge steel points in the stock saw event.
Get set.
And it is Carl Bischoff advantage on the upcut, and there's Carl Bischoff not far behind his Cecil Star, and he's done it. Carl Bischoff has done it unofficially. 2 fist pumps at 10.88. Both competitors went in with thick first discs, making a compromise change over both competitors unofficially with clean discs. We're going to wait, though, get the official call.
We have 2 cuts.
On stand number 1, the winner of the underhand chop, Mitchell Hewitt. And the man right behind him in the underhand chop. And they're paired up again from Memramcook, BC. Marcel Dupuis on the number 2 stand. Again, making that surge in steel points right now.
Hands on the wood. Get set.
Mitchell Hewitt into the log first, right behind Marcel Dupuis. And it's Marcel Dupuis very thin on that upcut. And it's going to be Mitchell Hewitt. 4th and final heat of the stock saw, coming from Vancouver, British Columbia, your returning champion, Sterling Hart on the number 1 stand. And our stock saw winner from the East Coast qualifier from Keswick Ridge, New Brunswick, Nathan Cumberland.
Hands on the wood. Get set.
We had problems on stand number 1. Sterling Hart, they're going to look and see if he has 2 complete discs. He had to double clutch the top of that log. He was so fast into the log, but very thin. Nate Cumberland, we're going to bring them both up here. Carl Bischoff, I believe, sitting safe.
We have 2 good cuts.
We had 2 good cuts. Sterling Hart would just double clutch the top. He went real thin, had to restart. But Carl Bischoff, he is our winner. 3 events in the books already. Let's take a quick look at the steel overall scoreboard to see how our competitors are stacking up.
Thanks for watching the first half of our STIHL Timbersports Canadian Championship. Make sure to tune in next week to see who's on top and crowned our 2015 STIHL Canadian Timbersports Champion.